Hey,
Hey, we are live again.
we're live again. Yes. Hey, Danny.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, doing really good, buddy. I'm just so excited. So, today is day 3 of our Build a Business from Scratch series. We've been going live every day at the same time. So, if this is your first time joining us, you are welcome to join us today and tomorrow, and also on Friday. In fact, we're probably going to be doing this pretty regularly in the future. Just because we've gotten so many great comments and so many people saying that this is very helpful.
Yes.
So, so really quickly, what we're doing is we're building a business from scratch. We started on Monday with the concepts, and we actually have a person, a fake person that's starting the business. Her name is Susan. And we'll talk a little bit more about Susan and what we've done with Susan in a little bit. But first, let me talk about how you can get help with ClickFunnels if you ever have a question. And then we're going to introduce our guest. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. So really quickly, if you ever need help with ClickFunnels, all you got to do is go to our knowledge center. That can be found at help.myclickfunnels.com. You got to put the my in front of ClickFunnels if you want help with ClickFunnels 2.0. So it's help.myclickfunnels.com for ClickFunnels 2.0. You can also just send an email. It's super easy. Just send an email to support@clickfunnels.com, and our awesome support team will make sure that they answer your questions as soon as possible. All right, cool. So we have a special guest. And by the way, in case you guys don't know, my name is Andy. I'm also with Danny. Danny is a super ambassador, and he's also part of the ClickFunnels community outreach team, like myself. So we're really excited. Danny has tons of experience. And we have a special guest today. He's actually an ambassador as well. Danny, do you want to talk a little bit about who our guest is?
Um, this guest is someone who we've sort of been noticing more and more and more in our community over the last sort of year or so, and recently he's just released some awesome content, and you see him in the group, and he goes live in the group on a Monday. If we'll show you that stuff at the end, and you can check it out. But I want to bring on James, right? And James is James Curran, and he's one of our ambassadors, and he's somebody who's amazing, but he's kind of really hung his hat on the linchpin model, which is something that you may have heard of, you may not have heard of. If you go into Funnel Hacking Live this year, you'll definitely know about this thing. But James has literally immersed himself in this stuff because it is, like the name suggests, the linchpin. And it's so important to anybody's business that you need to take note of this, and you need to start looking and thinking, how do you implement this? And it's not just a word, it's not just a concept, it's a system. And James is the guy who has taken this further than quite a few people, right? There's not many people who've done what James has done. And Laura, our director of communications, recently interviewed James, and she was talking about this. She said the only person that she sees who's done more with this in her mind is Russell Brunson, which was kind of crazy. And James has delivered the goods in more than one area, and he works with clients. He does awesome work in the group, and we want to bring him on right now to talk about how Susan can go from her little community with her little idea to now she's thinking, well, I've run some of these webinars, I'm getting people excited, I'm selling templates, I'm selling guidance, I've got this thing. Now, how can she start to implement more advanced marketing? So we're going to bring James on. James,
Hey,
everybody.
James.
How you
What's
doing,
up,
buddy?
everyone? Thanks for the awesome intro. And yeah, I call myself the linchpin funnel guy,
Linchpin funnel guy.
so that everyone will look to me when it comes to linchpin funnel stuff. But yeah, thanks for the intro. That's all I'm doing these days is linchpin stuff, and I'm happy to contribute everything that I can.
Pleasure to have you. So I know we kind of picked this up from halfway through the story, right? Because we're halfway through the sessions. But for anybody who's just joining us, basically on Monday we created Susan, and Susan's walked into our office, Andy, and is like, "Hey, I'm in this weird niche photography group, and I'm also somebody who understands ClickFunnels, and I want to offer these guys my skills and my services so that they can take their skills online and potentially, sell more photographs, sell more canvases, You know, make this more professional. And we developed a concept yesterday where we've got a logo, we've got a brand, we've got a big bunch of stuff for Susan. But Susan wanted to start using very simple, perfect webinar kind of events. So she's going to go live on a Friday, and she's offering the guys in the photography group her skills and services to show them how to add a logo to their photographs. And then she was thinking, how do I move them up the value ladder? So imagine, everyone, that a few weeks has passed and Susan's been doing these webinars. She's been having success. She's getting people joining her from these communities. People are having a good time. And maybe they've spent, you know, $47 with her or $100 with her here and there. And Susan's getting these folks now more and more interested. And she's like, wow, this could potentially work for me, but I need to take this to a level where I've actually got a business. And this is perfect for you, James, I think, with the linchpin stuff. But I think we need to start from Susan's point rather than where we're at right now, because we kind of get it. Anybody watching might not understand it. Does that kind of fill the gap a little bit? And I know, Andy, you've got other bits to add to that, but that's where Susan's at in her development right now. And hopefully people following along, you getting this? And I know Navneek's in the chat, and a few other people have been watching as well. Let us know in the chat if you're following along and if you get it. Andy, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. So right now, what Susan is coming up with, she knows that she wants to sell her services. So she wants to offer, her services. Maybe she can help photographers eventually build their own sites and things like that. Now, that's great and wonderful. She's going to make a lot of money, but she knows that there's a way for her efforts to continue on, even though she's not trading her time for money, right? She wants to, she understands that there might be a way for her to maybe create some type of membership or course or some type of product that will keep paying her even after she's done, and then the money just keeps coming after, and she doesn't need to be spending so much time working. So I think this is going to be great, and we have one of the leading experts with us on this strategy, so we're really excited about this. But James, what are your thoughts? If Susan was your client, what would you be telling her or asking her or recommending to her?
Well, the key thing that I heard is a sort of like decoupling of investment of time, like high touch point, but still wanting to serve a specific audience. So with that, like I pretty much only work with people who are going to be doing something with linchpin. So I'm like always filtering and looking for specific sort of flags that will say, like, is this a good fit or not for linchpin? And that's one thing that I heard that definitely makes sense to me. It's like, okay, got some stuff going. So I know there's an audience. I know where they are. I've been able to validate some actual buyers. So this is a very good thing. So many times people have great ideas, but haven't put in the work to be vulnerable, to put themselves out there, and to actually put an offer out there that has had success. So she's a perfect candidate, as far as I'm concerned, for a linchpin system. And I think that a membership site, since we're talking info products, I know we're talking about some services later on, maybe of actually performing the funnel building itself. And that can be something where that's either it's a higher level of engagement, or it could be the kind of thing where it's an upsell. So we have like this sort of like membership, do-it-yourself thing within in the funnel. We can do a one-time offer upsell for more high ticket done with you or done for you services. So that would be the sort of map that I would do. I would use a tool like Garo to actually map this whole thing out, and then present that and see if the client was on board with that. And usually if I can convey that with some certainty, let them know that I've done this before a million times, I can help them achieve this goal, and then usually they're on board.
Awesome. So maybe what we can do right now is just kind of throw out some ideas for actual courses or membership programs. I don't know. What do you guys think? So obviously she's her target audience right now is macro photographers, right? Because she has this hobby. She loves all the technical stuff. She's really good at graphic design and getting into ClickFunnels, but she's also a hobbyist. She loves macro photography. What do you think, what kind of product could she come up with that would attract macro photographers and maybe help them and maybe spark the idea that they need to get a ClickFunnels account and start creating their own funnels?
I would counter that with a question of, for her audience, where are they right now and where do they want to be when they've had success? What journey is she taking them on?
And I think it'd be a good point just to recap on yesterday, because Susan's been out there running these little mini trainings, and Susan's had a little stack going on at the end of her first ever webinar. She's put a little thing up. She's taken some opt-ins. She's done this thing live on a Friday or a Thursday on Zoom. And if I just share the screen, I've got this thing in Photoshop, right? So this, hopefully you can see this. Share the screen, and what I did is I kind of pulled out the funnel, and if you guys can see that on there inside of Photoshop right now, I can zoom in. So Susan's got a little landing page, and she's took people out, and she said, hey, I'm going to do this free training that's going to show you how to put logos onto your photographs, right? How you can use a bit of AI to make things a little bit smoother, a little bit easier for you when you want to impress people, because these macro guys have been taking down the photographs to like the local markets and things, trying to sell these things on canvases, and they're trying to get money online, but they don't quite know what to do. Maybe they're putting things on eBay and stuff like that. So she's run some of these little webinars, and she's been doing this thing where she gives away some Canva templates and a couple of training videos and a little call with herself. She's given them this little checklist and some AI prompts and a little thing for Mid-Journey and stuff. So she's kind of got these guys enjoying it. And if we fast forward, like, a couple of months, she's got maybe a couple of hundred people on her mailing list right now. They've already bought this thing, and she's stacked the value, but she's done it at what everybody does, James, right? They come out there and they say, oh, this is $5,000 worth of stuff. You can have it for $47 just to get people in the door. So she's got this little funnel going on, but once they've completed the webinar, she's kind of like ended that process, and they bought the thing. She's put the money in the bank, and she's gone out there trying to get new customers. And she's kind of now, well, look, I've got these people on the list. They want more of this stuff, but they've never heard of ClickFunnels. They've never heard of, doing the sort of like selling canvases online, use a funnel, do a tripwire, any of this crazy stuff we know. They've just literally learned a bit of AI, how to put logos on photographs using Canva, and how to take these things, do a bit of Mid-Journey, and maybe just enhancing what they're doing in the photography, but she hasn't moved them into this marketing zone in their minds just yet. Does that kind of set the scene for you a little bit? Because I know
Yeah, I think so. And then the end result is that her clients are able to sell their original photos in some marketplace. Have we specified that marketplace, or is it's more like a watermarking, like with an original brand? So you're putting a stamp on things.
Yeah, exactly. So normally these guys would try and print something on a canvas physically, take it down like into town or whatever, and stand there at some little shop or a pop-up market or whatever, and they're trying to sell these things to the public, and they're not charging enough. They're not really getting much success. Success to these guys would be, hey, if they sell 3 canvases in a month, right? And maybe they're messing around with like Etsy or eBay or things like that, which is fine. But Susan knows that if she unlocks this funnel hacker mentality in their mind, that these guys could literally take this to a whole new dimension. But she needs that help from us to move her there. So she's done the webinar, she's had some success, and now she's ready for this potential recurring revenue thing. You see where I'm going with that?
I think so. What's coming up for me is like, what if the aim of this membership was to get the customers to be able to generate $1,000 of revenue every month?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's kind of side business. We're not talking 100K.
No.
We're talking level 1. This is taking someone from hobbyist to like, I'm making money and I'm serious and I'm consistently putting out my art and selling it on some marketplace, Etsy, or like I live in Asheville, North Carolina, where there's a ton of little tiny markets all over the place and department stores and everything. So there's ways to get your stuff out there. And Yeah, that feels like a good journey. So $0 a month to $1,000 a month is like the beginning and end.
Right, right. So what I imagine is that maybe these macro photographers, they're just not very technical. I was just watching the other day an episode of of Cobra Kai, the series on Netflix, right? And there's a part where Johnny, one of the martial arts teachers, he's trying to recruit students, right? And what does he do? He goes to a park and he hands out flyers, which is like so 1990s, right? And obviously he didn't know anything about funnels or social media. And so I imagine that these people, these macro photographers that Susan is trying to help, that's what they don't know anything about Shopify. They don't know how to, use Etsy so well. Maybe they're just going, they're doing the pop-up shops and things like that, which is great. I mean, that's a great way to sell your art too. But you can, it's very obvious to her that she can see that they don't know how to get their stuff out there to a broad audience. And maybe she can create something like a blueprints type course where where there's lots of different tips and it kind of walks you through how to use Shopify, how to use Etsy, how to market your stuff on social media. And then perhaps at the end, maybe there's an upsell where she actually offers to build an entire website or an entire funnel to her clients. Does that make sense?
It does, and I was on mute because I'm leveraging ChatGPT in the background to sort of come up with different ideas for not only the membership site, but also like what are the methodology that we could use to actually get these canvases in people's hands and create happy end consumers. So what I would like to do then is create like a really quick and simple video sales letter funnel that like we can go as technical as you want. We can kind of keep it high level, or I can spend 15 minutes building a VSL with no actual video, just kind of a placeholder, and then have it so where it's can actually make a sale, and then we can do like a workflow that unlocks the membership. We can build a really basic course and have that be like the sort of deliverable for this session.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
And this could bolt on to the back of the webinar, right? So when they opt into the webinar, then we could show them this, instead of just saying, hey, check your email and join me on Zoom. We could have this now a VSL page that appears that says, thank you, you registered for the webinar. However, I've got this thing.
I love that. And you, Danny, handed me a share funnel of that funnel that you made yesterday, and I have not seen it yet. So this will be a very like live on the fly kind of thing. But I think we can take that, change the thank you page to point to another funnel step that I'll create. And then we can create a course and keep it sort of like very, very high level. I won't do much graphic work or anything like that, but put some placeholders so you can get the feel for like, if I were to spend some more hours on this, and I actually did put a real headline and some real copy, this is how I would implement this. But we can cover more breadth and focus less on depth.
Yeah. And in what we didn't cover yesterday, I went back and I kind of added some tweaks and changes. I put a background in and stuff just in 10 minutes before we came on. That has got some additional steps in there. You might want to modify them, remove them, delete them, but there's nothing fancy on there. It's just literally an order form, an upsell, and a thank you page, but they are just templates from ClickFunnels, right? So I've not done anything further than the opt-in and the thank you. But if you want to bring your screen up, James, I can bring it on.
Let's do it. I'm going to share the entire screen. Nope, wrong button. Share screen, entire screen. Click that one, share.
So there we go. Where are you?
Into infinity. Okay, so I brought this into my account. I've not clicked on it yet. So let's go in and see where we are. See where we can go. Okay, so this is the webinar opt-in. We'll hit preview on this. I see we've got a workflow. Came in as inactive, but that's probably because it was an import.
Yeah.
And okay, we sent an email, so probably a confirmation email or something.
Yeah, best click.
Okay, here is a. Okay, so this is the webinar. Thank you. Okay, all the getting started kind of stuff.
Yeah, just for the webinar, right?
So right here is where I think we can either add a step 4 or replace step 3 with sign up for the membership. In the sort of canonical linchpin, Russell and Todd on the back of the Funnel Hacks webinar said, sign up for ClickFunnels. We'll be using this on the webinar. So we could use that same lever and say, sign up for the membership. We'll be using it during the free training. You want to do that?
Sounds like a plan. It's like we always talk about the next logical step, right? So it's like, well, now they've signed up for the webinar. Well, what are they going to do between now and Friday when we do the webinar? Well, they might as well sign up to the thing that we're going to use. And we talk a little bit about this Mifgy thing, James, and this most incredible free gift thing. How does that come into play with this stuff?
Well, the Mifgy could be, there's a whole lot of, the Mifgy is a big topic potentially. Yeah. The simplest thing that can work with the Mifgy, though, is a free trial to the membership. Your Mifgy does not have to be a physical thing. It can be digital. It does not have to be any additional bonus stuff. It can just be like, hey, you get to pay nothing and get this thing for 14 days or 30 days or something like that.
So it's kind of like on the stuff that Russell puts out there and on the challenges and things, it's like test drive, and just by saying maybe, we'll give you some stuff. Maybe there's something we can wrestle with there. I don't know. But the crux of what you're doing right now is saying, hey, now they've registered for the webinar, we're going to give them an option to try or buy our membership, right? And I guess it's up to Susan which way she wants to go. What would you advise?
Let's keep it simple and say it'll be step 4, and we'll call it Macro Academy. So we'll be using Macro Academy during the training. So sign up for your free account today. And this will be a button that links to the next step. In fact, I can actually do that. Make this go to next step. And we're good to go. This order form, I'm going to delete this because I don't know. Or actually, what I can do, yeah, I don't think I'm not going to use these, so I'm going to delete these.
Yeah, delete some, yeah. Because now Susan's going into the future, right? So now she's been running this webinar for a while, and she's been making a few dollars here and there, and she's got a mailing list. She knows that this webinar is good, but she can also email what you're about to build to her existing list, right? Hey, we've launched Macro Academy, and you guys, because you're like awesome, I'm going to give you a free trial too. And she doesn't have to get them to sign up to the webinar ever again. She can just send them the link straight to this page. There's people going crazy in the chat with the likes and the hearts and stuff.
Cool. I don't know these templates super well, so I'm just going to pick one and we'll run with it. And if I have to just nuke it, I'll do that. So
yeah, just nuke it.
Macro Academy. Macro Academy. We won't index. We will create the page. All right, let's see what this actually looks like. Okay, so this element at the top I would probably keep. I'm like super honed into the nobsletter.com funnel. I use that for like all of my stuff. So like on that one, there's a header across the top with the logo. There's a big video right there, so that makes sense to me. This looks like it might be some sort of like logical section here. This looks almost like a funnel hub page. We can keep this really simple. So let's say this is emotional, this is logical, that's logical, and maybe this is like an urgency thing, like we're let's say we'll be closing this trial period. So sign up today.
Yeah.
So the reason why you said that some of the headlines and some of the parts are logical, and then there's different parts is because you want to I guess what you're trying to do is address the different points, right? You want to have some emotional stuff that maybe gets people excited or excited about the product. And then there's also logical parts that are more facts and why it's going to help you, and, lists bullet points of the benefits and things like that. So is that what I understand? Is that you want to have a balance of emotional, logical? Is there anything else that you want to include on a page like
Totally.
that?
Yeah. This is like .com secrets 101. Like I don't remember which chapter, but there's basically different types of buyers. And you'll get some people that are really responsive to emotional stuff, and you can use either towards pain or away from, or towards pleasure, away from pain. You can really hype up the emotion, either, especially with the video, because it's so high bandwidth. And then you'll have some like logical buyers who are like, okay, that sounds great, but I think you're tricking me. So let me see if some facts and figures. So that's where you get into a lot of the very specific, like, social proof, specific, like quantifiable results, things that are just like really appealing to people who are more analytical or logical. And then at the end, you use things like urgency of like, this offer is going to only be open for a short period of time. In the linchpin book, which I think we'll all be getting a copy of soon, the way that they do launches is with this pressure launch, and it's a very short window where you get people onto an early bird list, and then you put out your initial founding member launch offer, and then you take it away. And it's not fake scarcity; it's real scarcity. I just did this myself for my offer, where it's like I put it out there and now you can't get it, so that I can go focus on the people that I just sold this to, so that I can build out the course and make it an amazing thing. And then I'll open it up again later on for a higher price. So scarcity is a really valuable tool, because if you take something away and make it seem scarce, a human's going to be more likely to go for it.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Okay, so we need an order form. Wow, this looks like the same thing. I'm going to totally ignore so many of these details that I normally do fill out, but that's okay. We need a product. I want to make this functional. I'm like the tactician like person where, my design skills aren't as hot as my technical skills. So making things where they're actually functional is where I excel. So let's say this is the Macro Academy. It'll be digital product. It'll be a subscription. And what do you say in the linchpin sort of training that is right now only available in 2CCX, but perhaps in the future will be more widespread. There's two sort of ways to think about this psychologically for a tier one, where if you're in the business of helping people make money or save money, then $97 a month is a good place to start. And if you're doing something like dog training or some other, like maybe health related, you do $47 a month. And I was going to say 47 because we're talking about art, but we're talking about making money with art. So I'm going to make it $97 a month. I'm going to make it a free trial, and I'm going to make it a 30-day free trial.
And I think what we're seeing here as well, James, is just the simplicity of ClickFunnels, right? Because quite quickly you've taken a funnel that's working and it's worked for a while. This is what we talked about having, like, you're moving people along a little track between one point and another. You can pause for a little while. You get some traction with that. You have some fun with it. You engage your members. And then right now we're ready to add this thing, and you can just go into ClickFunnels, and now we're building out free trial. We're going to add the academy. We've got a bunch of stuff going. And that then, well, where we're going to put this content. So then, like Andy said, we're going to build a little members area at some point. Maybe we'll get into that later or tomorrow. But Susan's quite quickly gone from the lady in the group who helps people understand tech stuff to doing some regular webinars to now she's got a mailing list full of people, and now she's about to launch her first ever continuity program with recurring monthly revenue that's going to teach her friends and folks from the group how to get recurring monthly revenue. That's a big thing that we've covered in like 3 days, right? This is super exciting.
Yeah, totally exciting. I mean, especially for anybody that's brand new to this and watching right now. This is exactly what we're doing. Is we're going through the principles that are found in the Secrets trilogy books by Russell Brunson, and we started on Monday. We went through the foundation. We talked about the dream customer and how to build the product. Came up with some ideas. yesterday we went through how to build an actual funnel and some of the initial ideas that Susan is coming up with for ways that she can help this group of macro photographers so that they can make make some money. So this is really interesting, and I'm excited for Susan, even though she's a fake person.
Yeah,
I
quite
agree.
easily be anyone.
It's infectious. It's part of the reason why I love doing this, is like bringing people's ideas to life. Is like, I don't know, it taps into some like emotional, like tend and befriend kind of thing, where it's like you want to help people. And so I see what you mean by being excited for her. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating some workflows, and workflows are the way that we automate things. So it's kind of like when this thing happens, to do this thing. So what I want to do is create an opt-in workflow so that when someone puts they click on the VSL, they add their email address and name, and I think phone number was on there. It's called an opt-in. So when they opt in, we want some things to happen. And the first thing that we want to happen is to tag them. And we tag them so that we can find them later when it comes to sending email campaigns, or just kind of keeping track of who's done what within our ecosystem. So I'm going to say, I like to do prefixes for things. I like to use naming conventions. As a programmer, we use naming conventions for a lot of different things. So I'm going to say Macro Academy Interest. ERC, yep. And then create that step. And then what I can do real quick is an abandoned cart sequence. And we do this to get people who gave us the name and email address, but maybe haven't actually signed up, and send them a couple of emails to convince them that, this is a really good idea. So I'm going to actually leverage ChatGPT here and say, thank you. There's 3 emails that people show interest.
Gotta love some ChatGPT.
Yeah, and this is something that you should never do, which is blindly copy and paste from ChatGPT into an actual email responder. But it shows you the power of having a non-blank canvas situation. Like what we'll do here is we'll take this, and what I normally do is take this and bring this in a Google Doc or a Word doc or something, and I actually infuse my personality into it, or hand it over to a client and have them infuse their personality to it. But when you're staring at a blank document, it's kind of crippling. Whereas if you start off with something that comes from ChatGPT, it's like, okay, this is like a scaffold. This is like a structure that I can use and tweak and do something with. So let's see. What I'm going to say is contact tags is not, I must create the other one first. So I'm going to do this trick. What we want to do is check and see, have they made the purchase yet? And if they haven't, then we want to send this email. So I started this opt-in workflow, and now I'm going to make a workflow for when they make the purchase. You'll see why I'm kind of going backwards in a second. So this is Macro Academy purchase. Successful purchase is the event. Create the workflow. And here's where I'll invent this tag that I can use in the previous step. Products, Macro Academy. Actually, I'll keep typing it out. Okay, so now the tag exists in the system. So what I'm going to do is refresh this. I don't know if you need to refresh or not, but I'm just going to do that to make sure that we have success here. Come back to tags. Is not product Macro Academy purchase. And I missed a Y there, but that's fine. So, and I'm going to give this a name that makes sense to me. So have not purchased Academy. Submit. If they have not Purchase Academy. I'm realizing that my Boolean logic's kind of off. Have they purchased? There we go. If they haven't, then we can send them an email, and we can use a really simple Russell Brunson style. We'll say this is abandoned cart email 1. The subject we'll take from here. We'll say, yeah, that's from info. And now we can edit the email. And I'll just do one of these, so we're not doing all 3. But I want to go through and show you how to actually do it, because we can do some. Here's that trick I just showed everyone yesterday, where I can make this disappear.
Yay.
And then merge tags. Merge tags is a way to put in placeholders for actual contextual parts of a contact profile. So hi, first name. We noticed you were da 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 da. Here's the link. Let me get the link. The link is to, let's say, this one. Boom.
And people watching right now, you don't underestimate the importance of that abandoned cart email, right? Because I know just in one business, this thing's recovered like $250,000 in lost revenue, where people, they come, they hit the page, they do the thing, and then they like abandon it literally halfway through. And if you don't have that follow-up to remind them, like, I don't know, the kids have come home from school, or it's time to walk the dog, or they get shouted or distracted, or the phone goes. That email is such an important thing in your business. And look, if all it did is recover, $1,000, it's worth the time that James had just spent in, like, what, I don't know, 7 minutes. And I know you can hear the keyboard going, and I was going crazy with this stuff, and like steam's coming off, with hands and stuff when we're doing this. This is like the experience that we've got doing this repetitively thousands and thousands of times. But if you're new to this, you could do this nice and slow. We've used ChatGPT. We're using the workflows inside of ClickFunnels. We're just thinking, right, if they don't choose the product, send them this email. And then if they still don't choose the product, send them another email, right? So it's not rocket science. It's super, like, the concept is simple to grasp. If you're still not getting it, let us know in the comments, and we'll figure out a way to do that. But what you've actually done here, James, is potentially going to make sure Susan gets as many folks into the program as possible, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would, like we said, I would do this like probably 3 times, where I'm checking to see, have they purchased the product yet? And if not, send them another one, and sort of like ramp up the urgency and scarcity of it.
Yeah.
And you do this because you don't want to send it to people that have bought it, because that's just annoying. And I think what you were talking about with, like, the power of this stuff, like, we're digital marketers, we're marketing on the internet. If we didn't have this, then we would have to have people calling people, or someone in person go do this. But we've got automation, we've got things that work without us even thinking about it at scale, which is the power of ClickFunnels. So you need to leverage the platform and put this stuff in. If not, like you said, you're just leaving money on the table,
which is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are like me, but there's tons of times that, in my head, I'm going to go to the store to go buy this thing, right? And by the time I set foot in the door, I've already convinced myself that I don't need that thing. And then maybe later on, a few days later, I'm like, yeah, actually, I do need that thing. And it's like this cycle sometimes. So, people do this all the time. They'll go to the cart, the checkout page, and then they'll rethink it, or something will come up. Oh, I forgot I have this bill. And then they leave. They were interested. That's why they were there in the first place. So maybe they just need a little bit of a boost to get them back, right? So, I love this. I never thought that we were going to talk about an abandoned cart sequence or anything like that, but I'm so glad that we're talking about it right now. What do the emails say, or what do you do in an email that's trying to bring somebody back to the cart?
Well, this is all kind of contained. I'm going to point everyone back to what I consider, the holy trilogy, which is the Expert Secrets trilogy. There are literal scripts in there for how to do follow-up funnels with a lot of different contexts. There's training. There's all kinds of different ways to do it, but essentially, it's like you call them by name, and be like, "Hey, did something happen? We noticed you started signing up for this thing, and we understand people get busy, whatever. Here are the benefits that you can get." And then from there, you kind of increase the urgency and scarcity and importance, and depending on how long, we're supposedly it takes us 7 times to see something before we actually are convinced that it's a good idea for us to do it. So like this is just doing that on autopilot, and
Gotcha.
knowing that it's in the best interests of our clients to have the stuff that we're selling. It's not really annoying. It's like, I want you to achieve this goal so much. I'm going to keep putting this in front of your face until you admit that it's a good thing for you. You say yes to yourself, and you actually complete your dream.
Without a doubt. And one of the simplest ones that we found work many times is just the first email says, "Hey, we noticed you was trying to check out. Did something go wrong? Please reply and let us know." And people would email back and go, "Look, I'm not paying, $8.99 shipping on a $5 item." So that in itself just makes you think, oh man, obviously they've tried to choose a small thing and then the shipping's ridiculous. So combine the paying $13 or whatever it is for a $5 thing. You can then look at your shipping costs and think, well, could we do something on those smaller items? Or could we offer them a bundle of the smaller items to offset the shipping? Or could we give them a coupon? Or they might come back and say, life got in the way, like Navneet's saying right now in the chat. Yes, it did. So what do I need to do? You can reply to these replies. That's the cool thing. Ask somebody to reply. So you might not even need to send them the second and third email because you've just got the conversation at the right time. And that's like so simple, but so often overlooked. James is building out something magnificent here where he's covering all of those bases, making sure that Susan's customers are getting a really well-rounded service. And it shows that you're thinking about the customer as well, right? It's like sometimes you sign up for something, you never hear anything ever again. In this instance, it's showing that Susan's attentive to the customer, and Susan's loving this right now because she's in the office thinking, "Wow, I could really do this. I didn't even know I could do this." Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that that's going to be all good to go, and we're going to now focus on creating the course. So again, I'm going to leverage ChatGPT to start the conversation about what the structure of the course will be. Stu McLaren is someone who's spoken at FHL several times. He's leaned on heavily for his success with membership sites. He has a framework for structuring content that he calls the success path. So and ChatGPT knows about it. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to help us create a success path for this client that gets them from A to B. And then again, in real world, we don't stop there. We take it, we make it our own, we make sure that it's actually going to solve our particular problem. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we're just going to go with it as it is. So I'll continue typing this out.
And is Stu speaking at this year's FHL, James?
He is.
I think he is, and it is going to be an amazing presentation. I have seen a few bits that he's done, and every single time he's very dynamic, right, on stage, and he really gets into it, and he's got some amazing stories and insights. And oh man, you watch some of this stuff, and you kind of like drawn into it. He's a true natural on stage. And if you guys watching, you're like, oh man, I really want to see this stuff. funnelhackinglive.com, right? And you just go and get your tickets and join us, and you watch the presentation in person, and this will just amplify what James is showing you in an hour. You get into this stuff and you start to immerse yourself in this stuff. You're taking your business in the right direction, right? ChatGPT can obviously help as well, but this is exciting times for Susan right now.
I'm going to guide ChatGPT a little bit because it's giving me 3 milestones per stage, and I'm going to let it know that I only want 1 milestone per stage. The structure of the success path is you have 3 to 7 stages that take your person from where they are to where they want to be. Every stage has action steps that are required to sort of like learn that skill or build that thing. And then at the end of that stage, you have a tangible milestone. It's very binary. It's like, I have this thing or I don't have this thing. It can't be like a feeling or a vague notion. It has to be very concrete. So having 3 milestones per stage, I'm not agreeing with. So I stopped it right there, and I'm going to let it know to have 1 milestone.
I noticed that James talks to ChatGPT like a person. You even said thanks, right?
Always. You got to be nice to the robots, because they're only going to get smarter and remember more.
Yeah, they remember you when they're like putting brains in jars and stuff, right?
Oh,
and
no.
it's like some crazy stuff going on. It's like, oh man, you want to be on the nice side of the robots. And it just shows, I guess, what, you know, the kind of character that we're dealing with, right? When you work with James, you know, you're saying nice things to the robots, you're going to be super nice to your clients. And this is some of the amazing stuff that we see in the community. One of the reasons James is an ambassador, we tend to like to work with people and treat them in the right way. So not only do they get the result, but they come back. And that's something that maybe Susan might need reminding on, or might you know, just think about, or anybody running a business. You know, it's like one of our businesses, we've got some amazing reviews, right? And we've got some amazing reviews. It's a pleasure to see these reviews coming in. We've got to work hard for those reviews. And those little things, just saying please and thank you, just being there on time, showing up when you say you're going to be there. You can't do it, you know, 100% every single time, but you've got to try your best to do that. And you don't want to be putting excuses in the way of other people's success, right? And important lessons for anybody who's thinking starting out on this. Oh man, I could just go on ChatGPT and bang out some stuff and it will not do the work for you. You've got to take this stuff and make it your own, and then apply it to your funnels. But remember, and I don't know what you think of this, James, but the time is so important, because like we said, Susan's done this webinar for a few months. Now she's building this out over a course of time. She's going to introduce this to her members slowly. Like, it wasn't all built in a day, right? Even though we've literally built it in 3.
Right. Yeah. It shouldn't be built in a day either. The sort of suggested route for creating a membership site that, you know, we're learning in 2CCX is to not build it out. Like, you don't want to build out all of your content and then sell it. We do this founding member launch thing where you, like, for my launch, I built out 1 stage. And that's what I sold. And I made it very, very clear. Like, this is a founding member launch. This is going to be half the price, or maybe even a third of the price of what it'll be eventually. Yeah. You get in early. You get sort of like lifetime access to this recurring price. And you're there with me as I build it out. And you get to influence the result. Like, I'm in my community that I created and asking people, do you want me to focus on this or this? Is this good or that good? What kind of problems are you solving? So it's kind of a collaborative thing as well.
Yeah. And super important to have your members giving you that feedback. And often I've seen it where people go, I'm going to do the best Facebook course or the best ClickFunnels course or whatever it is. They build this stuff and then something changes in, like, ads manager changes, and then you've got to go back and redo it all. You're better off kind of like doing what you've just said, James, and then you can at least test the concept. You get some folks in, you're making a little bit of money, you can reinvest that money, but you can also stay with the times as well. As things evolve, you evolve, and you're not crushing yourself trying to bang all of this stuff out in, you know, a week.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of what we want to do in order to kind of stave off criticism or to increase certainty in our world is to build the thing out and perfect it. But there's, you know, I think at some stage, every entrepreneur has entered this. And if they haven't, they've read about it. You polish this thing, never ship it, never put it out there. That's like an anti-pattern that we want to avoid. So the knowing that going in, just build a part of it. Very, very upfront about that, the fact that you only got a part of it, give a significant discount, and then everyone's winning. If they're for you, then they're going to love this, you know, so you're not being deceitful at all.
Yeah. Super important.
I wanted to note that I created this sort of shell of the course, and now I'm including it in the Macro Academy purchase workflow. There's an enroll step. I've created it. I'm checking this box. So now anyone who buys automatically is enrolled in the course. And there's also a way, you know, this is super nerdy, but I love super nerdy. So we're going to do this. We're going to come over to the marketing section. I'm going to create a new workflow, not based on a funnel step, but based on something else. So I'm going to say macro cancel. We can create a step that removes access. So subscription canceled. And Macro Academy, and make it active.
So this is a really important step, because if someone normally cancels their subscription, does that mean that they will still have access unless you put this step in?
That's right. So you have to go in here and actually remove this so that when the subscription stops, they're unenrolled from the course automatically. So again, no need to do this yourself. Hire a VA, track anything in spreadsheets. All the tools are built in with ClickFunnels to handle all the use cases.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is it from a starting point perspective. What I can do is add lessons and show you how to create some content.
Sure.
But from a high level, we're there. So, depending on how much further you want to go with this, I can continue to build some stuff out, or we can say like, oh, I get the point, and we can kind of wrap it up. It's up to you guys.
I think we have covered as well some stuff, Andy, in the how to do the lessons and modules, but it'd be nice just to see a couple of bits go in here, James, from your perspective, and sort of talk a little bit about maybe how you would think about that, maybe that first module, just in terms of the thought process, rather than, we're not going to go and build a bunch of content. But that's been literally what we've done, is taken the webinar that we was running and we're having success with, and now we've bolted this option onto the thank you page that says, hey, take a free trial of my academy. And when they do that, you've got some follow-up emails, and if they don't take it, you remind them. If they do take it, it's enrolling them automatically into this course, and then they're able to see the content and kind of follow along during that webinar. And maybe you tweak the webinar, it's a more advanced webinar. Susan's rolling, right? Because she's gone from like absolutely nothing on Monday to now she's got these systems in place that are not only really cool, but they're actually automated as well. And this, I know, there's a lot of typing, a lot of stuff, but it's actually a lot of it's repeating the same things over and over again once you get into this stuff. So it's amazing what you've managed to pull off in 53 minutes with us talking.
Yeah, and I love how I love how courses and digital products, there's so many benefits to having a course or a membership side digital product. Initially, maybe Susan was thinking about trading her time for money, right? She was going to offer some type of service. That's great. She's probably going to, she'll probably kill it. But now with this is kind of opening up a new window, right? This is a new opportunity, because maybe she can start creating other digital products. And these the cool thing about a course or a membership site, some type of digital product, is it's like a book or writing a song, right? You create it once. Yes, you do have to maintain it. You're still going to have to market it. You can't just abandon it completely. You're going to have these customers, but most of the work is done, right? And this thing that you've created keeps paying, and it keeps bringing in customers, from now for a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows? So this is a really, really, really cool option that she's adding to the different products that she might be offering.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Here's the course from a high level. It's like I'm using. I just brought this into my actual live account, so I've got some of my branding here. That's not like usually what it looks like, but in the interest of just getting something up quickly, this is how fast we can put together some content. So now you just take your phone, you record some stuff, you throw it in Boomly or Vimeo, or there's an option to upload video to the ClickFunnels and have ClickFunnels be the video host. You throw up some digital assets and add some worksheets, and you guide someone from $0 a month to $1,000 a month, and you're making an impact in the world, and you're making an impact in your bank account, and everyone's winning.
Awesome, buddy. Very cool.
Very, very good. Very, very good. And Navneet's in the chat saying, wow, ClickFunnels will do the heavy lifting and unenroll people. And we learn something every time we do one of these lives. And James, that's been a pleasure to watch. And I know we might have gone around that super fast, but I spoke to you earlier, Andy, about let's get the replay videos, let's package these up, let's give the share funnels, let's give it all the stuff that we've done. We'll bundle it all together and we'll just give these guys the link so they can go and play with all of this stuff and become Susans of the macro photography world or whatever they want to do by the end of the week. So stick around to the end, you guys, and we'll figure out a way to just like give the downloads and the bits that we can do in the replays.
I do have a sheet that I give to my my community. That's a success path sort of template, so you can kind of like plan your success path. What are the stages and action steps and milestones? It's really simple, but kind of essential and really important. So I can give you guys that link so that
we got a bonus. Hey, we got bonus.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get the bonus from James and you're going to get the videos, the replays, and you're going to get a big bunch of, isn't that like a reason to go and grab yourself a ClickFunnels trial right now and just like sign up to ClickFunnels, and like on Friday we'll just give you this stuff on the Q&A and you can just go and plug this in and like don't become Susan, right? Don't go out there and like start hitting the macro niches and like go and find something that you're passionate about. I know there's folks in here talking about cookery and different skills and different things, and it's like time. Take the time, figure some stuff out. We said at the beginning, like have a walk around the pond and look in the water and see what fish are feeding, right? And which fish do you want to catch? And are you fishing in the right ponds? Go and do something that you're passionate about, right? If it's music, if it's cooking, if it's funnels, whatever it is, but go and find yourself something that you can really relate to, because it takes longer to become an expert in something you don't know anything about. If you go and you find something that you've done for years, maybe it's a sport, maybe it is photography. I don't know what it is. It could be anything, right? But you only need to go on a TikTok adventure to find 1 million people making $1 million doing 1 million different things. And all of those things can kind of like be funnelized, taken to the depths of the webinar or the linchpin or whatever. And it all starts in the books. You unlock some of the thoughts in amazing minds like James, just speak to us, right? We're in the group. Tag us, find us, talk to us. It's like,
yeah.
whoa.
I mean, I've seen, and the idea of putting together a course or a membership site, I have seen in my career and my experience, I have seen some of the most ridiculous courses and membership sites that make tons of money. I mean, when I heard that there was a course on horse ballet, teaching your horse to do ballet, I thought, well, who's going to buy that? And this person is making, 6 figures. When I've seen courses on how to teach etiquette to children, and I thought, what is that? It's so like weird, right? I've seen just crazy. I know there was a course that I saw. It was geared to hairstylists, and at first I thought it was not going to be successful at all, and it became very successful. So. Yeah, you're right, Danny. You can just follow your passion, and whatever you're good at, there's probably a community out there that is going to be interested in that. So very, very exciting. I think Susan is right on the right track. And James, thank you so much for showing us how to implement this strategy. Very, very exciting. And it's cool to watch Susan's life or business kind of evolve, right? So tomorrow, Danny, what are we doing tomorrow?
Well, like you said, we're just going to progress this and we're going to move this on a little bit further, and we're going to kind of wrap this up into a recap. We're going to make sure that Susan's got all of the tools and all of the things that she needs. But look, with what James has just showed you there now, and you've got to say, look, big thanks to James, because you've dropped in here. You didn't, you watched the replay from yesterday, or you've seen a little bit of this stuff. You've taken a funnel and you've gone, right, tell me about it. Do the and we've got potentially recurring revenue. But if Susan goes out there and makes, I don't know, she makes an extra few grand a month, 2 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand, and she's enhancing this offer and she puts the price up over time, and she moves from that founder launch to this is it, it's ready, and we're charging, I don't know, $297 a month. That's big bucks with 1,000 members, right? So if you had 1,000 members paying you $297 a month, we'll do the maths, right? And all of that is born from the things we've covered in 3 short, what? I don't know, 4 hours, right?
Mhm.
It's 4 hours of your time to watch these videos. And if you're watching this right now and you just like take the link to this or invite people to the group and share this stuff or tag people in the video who you think might be interested, right? Because we've all got networks. If folks, we don't mind if people tag other people from the group and go, have you seen this? You know, even like 5 people, 10 people watching on a regular basis who are coming back time and time again. Loris made the comment, he doesn't understand why there's not 10,000 people watching this thing, right? There's gold in the hills, and James has just dropped a big bunch of it. And tomorrow, let's go back, let's recap, let's remind folks what we've done, and let's look at how we can take Susan even further on her journey towards success, right? 2 Comma Club award for Susan.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And James, you're going to be at Funnel Hacking Live, and we've got ambassador stuff and 2 Comma Club stuff and Funnel Hacker TV stuff, and there's stuff. There's all sorts of stuff, right? And we're just excited. Can't wait to do it. You're also live in the group teaching some of this stuff every Monday.
Yeah. I have this ongoing thing where it's like, let's just show how to use models, kind of pull apart what's working over there and apply it to our own business. And so that's what I'm doing. Is like, investigating your first funnel sales page, and then dissecting it and showing how to recreate it in ClickFunnels too.
And I've watched some of this stuff, and it's amazing. And hats off everything that you're doing, and thanks for being such a valued member of the community, really, because this is what it's all about.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
Keep doing the thing. The replay will be up in the group anyway, but we will pull all of the sort of videos together and put them all on a page, and then we'll just have one page. We'll give it away on Friday, so anybody watching, they can go back and get it without having to scroll through Facebook.
Cool.
Sounds good, buddy.
James, it's been a pleasure. Andy, anything else? We've sort of like wrapped that up in record time, but it's really given people an opportunity now to think, well, I started off with a concept, then I had a logo, and I looked at a value ladder, and now I was doing a webinar, and then a few months later I added a membership course, and now I'm actually developing this linchpin. Very soon, folks will be able to get their hands on the linchpin content, and I know James has probably got the linchpin book within arm's reach. At some point, this thing will appear on your screen, I would imagine, at some point in the not so distant future. And if you see that stuff, like, go get it. Right? Go get it. And don't just get it for the sake of getting it. Get it for the sake of how are you getting it? What is the process that underpins this? How does the mind of Russell Brunson work? How does the ClickFunnels mind work? How does the mind of James work? These are all important questions you want to be asking yourself, Susan. But I think from for me, certainly, I can't wait for tomorrow and get this moving. I think we've got other ambassadors coming on as well. Riddick's coming on, and we've got a few other folks joining us as well. So we're super excited, and we'll be bang on time, get this thing moving. And then on Friday, I guess, James, you're more than welcome to come back, and Riddick can come back, and other ambassadors come back. Maybe we have a little bit of a Q&A, what people have learned. But this week it's been amazing so far, and I can't wait to see where we end up with this stuff.
Yeah, James, it was great getting into your mind and just watching how you work. And I hope everybody else enjoyed that too. Very, very exciting. And we have 2 more days. So I love that.
Yeah, awesome. So I think certainly from me, go do it. Watch back. Watch the previous 2 days. If you've not seen them, tag your friends in the group and let them know. If they're not in the group and they need to know this, invite them to the group. We can, as long as they answer the questions, we can let them in. It's ClickFunnels, and we're here to help, basically, and this is what it's all about. And Andy, James, a pleasure as always.
As always,
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Joe. And also, I'm kind of on a kick right now of talking about how to launch a linchpin funnel. Yeah. So I keep dropping stuff in the group. So just look out for that if you're interested in actually launching one of these things.
Yeah, and we've actually got some stuff of yours in the guide at the top, James. And once you do a post, you can actually pin it to the guide. So go and use add the post to your guide, and people will be able to find it all in one place. Likes and hearts going crazy. People are tagging people. I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow, right?
See you tomorrow. Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.